When Slacker came out, it was so fresh, so innovative. How did you hit on the idea of this kind of relay film with the camera following one character, then the next character?
You know, I remember it was like 3 in the morning. I was driving a long distance. I just had the idea. I was like 23 years old, just thinking like, oh, can film? I was just so in love with cinema and thinking of films I kind of wanted to try to make. And I thought, I'd never seen a film like that. Could you tell a story like one? You know, so it was just an early idea. So I thought about that idea for about 5 years and kept in my mind refining it. And then one summer I was trying to get another film made, and then I'm going to go try to make that crazy film I've been thinking about.
Obviously, a lot of films revolve around plot, but you seem relatively uninterested in plot. Why is that?
Well, I'm very much into story and character, because I think that's what our lives are. That's how we process the world and time and our lives. But most of our lives don't really have, I think plots are constructs. Like most our lives lack plot. It has over stories and trajectories, but not plot. So I don't really trust plot. And I've largely replaced plot with time structures, probably, organizing structures around time. I think if I have to analyze it. But there's not a good plot twist. They work well in cinema, you know, action movies. And it's nice to reveal information and things. You know, it's a very subtle process, but overall, I don't mind plotlessness.
Many of your films are very heavy on talking. How much do your actors play a role in shaping the dialogue?
Oh, completely. Like, if there's anything like natural about my films or seems realistic dialogue, that really comes from a rehearsal workshop period where I have this script and then it's not that natural. You know, it has to be kind of naturalized and made realistic via the actor. So I really believe in that relationship. And so I'm very rehearsal intensive, and you know, I demand actors be creative partners in that. And I think that's some of my favorite directors. Tim Robbins, 2 nights ago we were talking about, he did The Player with Robert Altman, and he said Altman, and the first day looked at him and goes, I really don't like this script. I hate this script. We're gonna, you know, make it something else. But he's empowering the actor. Whether he really feels that way about the script, he must not totally believe that because he's making the movie. There's worse scripts out there. But he's trying to empower the actor to be creative and bring more to it, bring themselves. So I want the same thing. I don't want actors who stand here, do that, you know, but there's different ways. Some of our favorite films are that, you know, like you fit into the scheme of the film or you're a part of the creation of it. I'm more on that side.
For viewers, Boyhood is really a unique experience, but it must also have been for you as the filmmaker. What were the pleasures and the challenges of making Boyhood?
It was a complete pleasure and so unlike anything else I'd ever done or ever will do to that extent, or anyone had ever done to that degree. Like you can imagine, you know, on the last day of production, on a production, even if you're doing a 4-day shoot or a, you know, it's over. This is we call it the martini shot, the last shot. This is the last day of production, the last shot. So you can imagine what it felt like to wrap a 12-year, to say this is the martini on the after 12 years, and to be done and look around, and you know, those feelings I'll never feel again, you know. But that said, it was such a small little side project for all of it. Every year we'd shoot a few days, and you know, I'd get to think about it for a year. So the methodology was so backwards. We spent so much time preparing and in post-production compared to production, because I would have a year to think about next year's. I would have a year to write, a year to think, a year to edit, 12 years to edit. You know, in the final year I'd go back and edit something from the first year. Film, the practicalities of film production and don't afford you that ability to spend that kind of time. So that film necessitated it, so it was wonderful.
You yourself can't have been a real slacker, because in your 20s you directed a groundbreaking film that was a hit, and you were a co-founder of the Austin Film Society. When and how did the Austin Film Society grow from being like a kind of classic film club into something bigger and more ambitious?
You know, the film side, it's had its own life. You know, 33 years later, I think about every 10 years we make a big leap. Year 10, we had a 10-year retrospective. We showed a year of free movies, and we started giving out grants to filmmakers. You know, 10 years later, we took over an old airport, 20 acres, and kind of started a studio. And then more recently, we've taken over a TV station. We've opened our own theater. So it's been this kind of slow, you know, we have educational programs. We're in schools. We're teaching young filmmakers. You can make a film and put it on TV. We have 3 TV channels. We have our own theater. We show 20 films a week instead of, often in the early days, we'd show 1 a week. Now we're showing 20. You know, we've given out so much money to filmmakers. So it's just, we're living our, you know, it just gets better. We're living the world we have created very slowly.
Do you ever see your young self in the emerging directors who come and apply for grants from you guys?
Oh, constantly. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and it's great if you can help anyone. A lot of times, film, it takes a while for your talents to emerge, or for even the people near you to recognize them. You're like, oh, I want to make films, and people go, yeah, okay, you know, go do it. And so when we give someone a little grant, maybe that's the first time someone says, hey, you know, that's good, you know, keep going. And they can take that money and maybe get more money. They can use it as a matching grant, raise money from family members or maybe who didn't believe in them so much, to get kind of officially sanctioned by a organization. Is like, people, you know, it's as they say, a shot in the arm. So that's, it can be good. Anything positive. You know, artists need support in this world.